now tuned into the greatest.
The Run with Manny Wilson podcast.
The Run with Manny Wilson podcast.
The best sports podcast there is.
Yes, sir. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Run with me, Manny Wilson. All the way from Detroit to Chicago to your speakers and headphones. I appreciate you tuning in to the first interactive sports podcast, a community that makes sure your voice is heard. So if you hear something you agree with, you disagree with, you like, you dislike, go ahead, shoot me a call, 219-413-9405. And of course, we will play your take back on our next episode. Now, shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring this episode. Get $20 off your first ticket purchase when you use the promo code TheRunPodcast. This code can only be applied for first-time users on the mobile app or website. So I'm not sure about you, but like me, I'm going to this Chris Brown concert later on tonight, and he's going to still be here later on tomorrow too. So never too late to buy your tickets. Had to go ahead, create me an account. Buy them tickets, use the promo code, The Run Podcast, save $20. Anyway, look, there's other things that's going on that we need to talk about, man. The NBA Finals Game 1 happened between the Boston Celtics and the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks got their behind whooped by the Boston Celtics in Game 1. Oh my gosh. Celtics won 107-89, and this was a lopsided victory. It started off very rough for the Dallas Mavericks. Couldn't make a shot. Was struggling to keep the offense flowing. Like, it was just a lot of different things going wrong for the Dallas Mavericks. Sloppy turnovers, bad passes, bad decision making. Wasn't playing enough defense. The list goes on and on. It was a bad game here, but I don't want to discredit the Celtics by saying the Mavericks played a bad game, because you got to admit, this was great basketball from the Boston Celtics that I witnessed. It started with Kristaps Porzingis. This is where it all began here, because this man, he really carried this Boston Celtics offense, bro, because he started off hot, had 11 points in the first quarter, didn't start, finished the first half with 18 points total. Was money. The Celtics started running the offense through this man. Jason Tatum didn't really have to do much. Jaylen Brown didn't really have to do much. But he also was a defensive anchor when he was on the floor. Kristaps Porzingis had some great blocks, had some great stops on the defensive end, and just brought another presence down low that slowed the Dallas Mavericks down. And this was a huge piece right here and a huge help for the Boston Celtics, because one of the things that they've done earlier on in these playoffs against the Thunder, and like they did against the Minnesota Timberwolves when they played them, was if the jump shot wasn't working, the three ball wasn't working, then all right, they could just kick it over to Luka or Kyrie to get some points on the inside. They get that inside game going a little bit. If the shot's not working, go to the hoop. That's a lot more difficult to do when you got a tree down there like Kristaps Porzingis, a guy who's 7'2", can move his feet, like played great defense in the paint, and then can come down court and torch you with his jump shot. That's what we witnessed in the first quarter and the second quarter. The Celtics literally ran the offense through Kristaps Porzingis as he was balling out. Like, the guys didn't even have to do much, and this was a huge help. So no matter what you did, the game plan of how much Kristaps Porzingis was going to affect the Dallas Mavericks in Game 1, I can promise you nobody in that Dallas Mavericks organization seen this man dropping 18 points in the first half. Nobody's seen it coming. And I personally think it was just, one of those things where you have a good game, bro. Like, for all of my true hoopers out there, those guys who really play basketball, who played at somewhat of an elite level, or who just played competitively at any point in your life. Sometimes when you stay away from the game, or you haven't been hooping like you wanted to, that first day back, it's something about it. I don't know what it is, but that first day back is just a gun show, bro. You just be letting loose, and you just be on fire. And this is my experience, so maybe you haven't had that same experience. But personally, whenever I haven't hooped in a long time, and then I go hoop for the first time in a minute, I'm blazing fire, bro. I'm torching. I'm letting loose. I'm living my dream of being Damian Lillard, Manny Ginobili, all of the names you can think of. Yeah, Manny Ginobili. That's what it is. That's what it is when I'm out there torching up. Like Darren Wilson, like, dog. I'm telling you, the days where I don't hoop every time, but I may give myself 4 or 5 days, or maybe even a couple weeks, maybe a month. I'm not gonna go too far, but after a month, if I go hoop, I'm torching, bro. I'm telling you, I don't know what it is. And I think that same thing happened to Kristaps Porzingis because he was torching in the first half, bro. Straight letting loose. And then the total, he had 18 in the first half, finished the game with 20 points. Obviously, it was, a little bit less playing time in that second half and all of that. He didn't have to play as much because they were already spanking him and blowing him out. So it was a slight difference there, but man, to have 18 points in 12 minutes, that's crazy. That's crazy. He only played 7 minutes the entire second half, and he had, 2 points, but he was still trying to let it fly. But I think when he came out the gun, he was just sharp, bro. He was just sharp. He was sharp. And for the Dallas Mavericks, a team who wasn't playing defense, they weren't really awake. They came out kind of flat in a way. Came out flat and never really picked it up. Luka Doncic tried to help them out and pull them along, which he did. He cut the lead to single digits at one point, but it just wasn't enough, bro. He didn't have any help out there. Kyrie Irving, we'll probably never see him have a game like this again in this series, but he was broke, dog. He was broke. 3 for 10 in the second half. Finished the game with, I think, total 12 points. It was awful, bro. I don't think we'll see another game like this from Kyrie Irving. Dallas Mavericks damn sure can't afford another game like this from Kyrie Irving. But Luka was out there by himself, carrying the team on one knee, doing everything he could to keep his team afloat, especially in his second half, because that's when he started to show up big, had 13 points that entire second half, but it just wasn't enough because nobody else was there to help him out. The shooters that's usually around, PJ Washington, couldn't make a shot. Derrick Jones Jr. couldn't make a shot, was 2 for 9 for the entire game. But Mavs was just broke, bro. It was one of those games for them where they couldn't knock things down. They couldn't get things to fall. But ultimately, the Celtics had the complete opposite at one point for one player. And that's what really set them apart early on in the stage of making sure they got out early and got ahead. So that was a huge help for the Celtics. I think game 2 is going to be a little bit different, though. Hopefully the Mavs come out a little more awake and with a little more intention and intensity. But we'll see, man. We'll see. Anyway, look, I got Jaylen Brown here. After game 1, he had to share his thoughts on the game. They asked him about Kristaps Porzingis and what it means to see him on the floor, and also just a reflection of game 1. So here we go with that.
Just as a friend and as a teammate and as someone who's been around him, what did it feel like to see him have the kind of game that he had right off the bat and have that energy?
It was amazing. Nobody's more proud or more excited for him than I am, but, we got to get better. We got to, almost forget about it and get ready for the next one. We can't be celebrating ourselves. Dallas is, probably getting ready for the next game right now, so we got to prepare and get ready for the next one too.
And here's Kyrie Irving after the game 1 loss.
They're great. On into kind of the trap of relying on isolation and becoming stagnant.
I don't necessarily agree that it's a trap, that they want to set us. I think that they really rely on their great defensive ball pressure, their one-on-one defenders, and they funnel us into certain areas. Even as I say that they're relying on the one-on-one, every time I got an ISO, there's, almost 2-3 people waiting for me to get in there. So I got to catch the ball on a live dribble and just be aware of my opportunities. It's uncharacteristic for us to have only 9 assists. The ball's got to move a little bit more. And again, that starts with me just being able to push the pace, get us some easy opportunities, and just adjust to what they're throwing at us. So it's a fun series. It was fun just, going into the game. It's still going to be fun, but there's going to be a level of chess that still has to be played. And, game 1 was just about adjustments. We obviously wanted to win this basketball game, gave ourselves a chance in the second half when we were down by 8. Then they brought it up to 16, and they got up to 22 when we called the timeout. So just going to be replaying some of these possessions, but, at the same time, look at some of the positives that we can carry on to game 2.
All right, man, look, quick side note here. The Los Angeles Lakers, they're in the process of trying to hire Dan Hurley, who's the UConn's current head coach. Now, Dan Hurley is obviously known as one of the best coaches in college basketball. He's been one of the best coaches in college basketball for some time now. Hurley said he's about 50-50 on UConn and also 50-50 on going to coach the Lakers in the latest reports from Shams and multiple sources. Now, the thing I look at here is obviously the Lakers, they had some conversations with JJ Redick. Twitter and everywhere else on social media, they had themselves a field day because JJ Redick was talked about as being the head coach of the Lakers. People were speculating that, because him and LeBron has a podcast together, this was his audition tape to become the Lakers head coach. We know LeBron likes this guy. Anthony Davis is going to like this guy. He's a former player, so the fans like this guy. But, when this report about Dan Hurley came out, a lot of people, they were caught off guard. And to me, personally, I'm on the bandwagon that I like this move for the Lakers, bro. They need someone who's going to have structure as a head coach. Lakers don't need any more type of stunts of bringing this former player in or bringing this guy who may be a good coach or a potential candidate of being someone who's there for a longer duration of time. They need to cut all of that stuff out. Playtime is over. You switched about 3 different coaches in the last 5 to 6 years. It's time to find your guy and actually stay with it, because we know Darvin Ham was damn sure not it. Luke Walton wasn't it. Frank Vogel wasn't it. No matter who was before Frank Vogel. We had, I got it right here, actually. Frank Vogel wasn't it. Scott wasn't it. Byron Scott wasn't it. Like, you've been through so many different coaches since Phil Jackson, and it's been a long-ass time since Phil Jackson has coached the Los Angeles Lakers from 2011. So, Lakers, hey, if y'all really the team y'all say y'all are, you got to get it together. You got to get it together. Find your guy and allow him to restructure the entire Lakers organization. Because right now, they're just unorganized. They don't really have a lot of structure for the team that's living up to the standard of what the Lakers culture really mean, if that makes any sense. And to explain that a little bit more, obviously, Lakers are about hanging banners. They're about winning championships. Frank Vogel won a championship, but they let him go just because he had a couple rough years after that. Personally, on that, I'm like, hey, you should have gave the guy a little bit more leeway. He did win you a championship, so who knows what else he could have done if you put the right pieces around him. Darvin Ham, to me, didn't have a fair shot because of the pieces that he had to work with. You give a guy Russell Westbrook, Patrick Beverly, D'Angelo Russell. Like, come on, man. The mixture is just bad. It's a bad mixture. I ain't even going to go down the list, but, it's a bad mixture. And if you have a head coach that's not afraid of going to the front office and telling you, look, this guy right here, number 14, he's not going to work. We got to get rid of him. It's not the way I want to run my team. He doesn't listen. He's just not a good effort guy. We need to get rid of him. A coach that's really, really going to construct this team and really going to have this team in order. And I think Dan Hurley is that guy, because this team has been dysfunctional for some time. Since even when Frank Vogel was there, they were still slightly dysfunctional. You just had great players on the team of Bron and Rondo, high IQ guys on that team. So it made it work during that time. But ultimately, man, hey, Lakers, they got to figure it out. They got to figure it out. And I think Dan Hurley is the guy. So to me, hire him with some confidence, hire him with some leeway, give him a little bit of time to feel comfortable, adjust to the personnel, adjust to the city. And if you don't win a championship in the first 2 years, oh well, it's okay. It's okay. It's all right. I promise you it's going to be okay. But I think Dan Hurley is definitely the guy for the Los Angeles Lakers. Anyway, look, shoot us a quick call, 219-413-9405. If you just want to get something off your chest, you want to let us know who you think is going to win Game 2 of the NBA Finals. Or maybe you think Dan Hurley isn't the guy for the Los Angeles Lakers. Maybe it's something that you want me to talk about. A question, a concern, NFL related, football related, in general, college football related. college basketball related, NBA draft related, any of those things, go ahead, shoot us a call, 219-413-9405. And of course, we'll play it back on our next episode. Look, man, we got some news for the run coming up for you in just a sec, so don't go anywhere. It's halftime. All right, man, let's get into it. News for the run. The San Francisco 49ers, Christian McCaffrey, received a 2-year extension for $19 million per year. And the NCAA, they passed a guideline that now allows schools to put up corporate logos on the football fields in the regular season games. It's set to go into effect this upcoming 2024 season. And the NBA, they're looking to close in on a 11-year, $76 billion media revenue deal with ESPN, NBC, and Amazon. This 2024-2025 season will most likely be the final season that TNT airs NBA games, and this will mark the end of the pre- and post-game show inside the NBA. Man, that's one of the best shows like to come on before and after the game. Inside the NBA with Chuck, Charles Barkley, Shaq, Ernie Johnson, and Kenny Smith. Man, that show right there inside the NBA really gave me a lot of courage to do what I'm doing now. It gave me a lot of motivation and inspiration to do what I do now, because I remember watching that as a kid and just being like, man, I would love to do something like that one day. I would love to wake up and talk about sports as a job. So there's been multiple rumors that TNT, Turner Sports, will most likely stay with the NBA, and the inside of the NBA can possibly stay around, but those are just solely rumors. As of right now, no official sources have confirmed it, meaning Wall Street Journal, The Athletic, New York Times. None of those things have confirmed it yet. So again, those are strictly rumors that inside the NBA may still be around after next year. But the NBA, they're expanding. The NBA is expanding to new teams. Commissioner of the NBA, Adam Silver, says the NBA will look forward to expanding outside of the US and Canada after finalizing new TV deals. Not much else have been said about where they'll locate these teams and where they'll put these teams if they expand, but all we know now is that the NBA has expansion in their future. Now, JJ Redick, as I mentioned, was rumored to be the Lakers coach, but that is not the case at all. Dan Hurley is the candidate for the Lakers right now that most people think will end up being the head coach for the Los Angeles Lakers. And as I mentioned, that is the guy I think has the job, and that's who I think should have the job there. Now, look, man, hey, that's all I got for you to get today, man. I appreciate you guys for hanging with me, kicking it with me, listening to me, especially if you've been hanging all along. Go ahead, shoot us a quick take, 219-413-9405. And, man, you have a great weekend. But before you go on your weekend, let me give y'all one drop of a positive note here. Some good things to take into your weekend as you go on. I'm going to just leave y'all with this message here. Now, I might have said it before, but it don't matter because I need to keep saying it over and over again until you listen or until you get it. I'm going to just go back to saying, make sure whatever you do, believe in yourself, because nobody else is going to believe in you. And I know it sounds cliche, but you got to start somewhere. And if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else is going to see that spark within you of how much you really believe in yourself. So no matter what you're trying to put your mind to, no matter what you're getting to, whether it's a sport you're trying to be the best at, whether you're trying to be a computer scientist, whatever the case is, a music artist, all of the above, anything you do, just make sure you believe in yourself and don't give up. Believe in yourself that you can do it, and just know if anybody else was able to achieve that high level of success in that industry, why can't you do it? And damn the circumstances, damn all the simple excuses. Oh, I don't have money right now. I don't have the time. Right? Why can't you do? Why can't you just start little and make those smaller steps toward it? Just start little. That's it. Just start small. Whatever it is you want to do, don't think about, oh, the journey's going to take so long, it's going to take forever. No, believe in yourself and just take the little baby steps to get you where you want to go. Just take the small steps to do it. And eventually you'll be able to look back and be like, damn, I done there's a big gap of where I was to where I am now. So, I'll leave y'all with that. Take that advice however you want to, but definitely, man, enjoy the weekend, especially if you're in an area where it's sunny and the sun is out, bro. Just be happy and enjoy that. But I'm going to leave y'all because I got to get ready for this concert. All right, man, look, I'll be back later on next week, and so on and so on and so on.